So a really common question I get a lot is, do I need nails to play fingerstyle guitar? And so I thought I actually fancied a change. So what I've decided to do is to just get rid of them and give you a before and after. Now I've done this before, but previously it was really just focusing on technique, showing how some of the advanced techniques that I do can be done either with or without nails. But this time I thought I'd focus on tone, try and show the difference in tone that you get when you're playing with nails and without nails. It'd be really interesting to me actually, because obviously it's going to be the same guitar, same setup, same person, same fingers. The only difference is I'll be using the techniques with and without nails. Now, I wouldn't do this if I didn't like the sound either way. So obviously it's all about personal choice, and it's nice to have that kind of a change in sound as well. You know, I do exactly the same thing with my string gauge as well. I don't stick with one string gauge. I know at the moment I've got 10s on here, which is pretty middle of the road for me. But I will drop this guitar down to 8s as well, because that seems to give it much more texture, and the strings sort of flap around and bash on the frets and generate all of this percussiveness. And I'll go completely the other way and maybe put 12s on here as well. And that gives you a much richer, fuller sound. It's a very stable sound. You don't get that same kind of percussiveness of the strings bouncing on the frets as well. And you get more sustain. So, you know, just like string gauge is about personal preference, playing guitar with or without nails is about personal preference. So hopefully this will give you some kind of idea about what it sounds like one way or the other. So I'll work through a series of techniques, like I say, and zoom in, and I'll see if I can demonstrate the difference. Okay, so let's start with Apoyando. So all Apoyando is it's also known as rest stroke, where you play the string and you fall onto the string below. Yeah, I've talked about this in other videos as well, but this is actually quite a common technique for me. Creates a nice full sound. And because it falls onto the string below, you've got control of that string as well. But that's what it sounds like with nails. Okay, so now I've taken the nails off. Let's try Apoyando then. It's going to take me a little while to get used to this. Okay, so the next technique we're going to use is Terando. And Terando is just a free stroke. Basically, you play the string and you move your finger away from it so you don't touch the strings around them. And so you use it when you're playing arpeggios like this, or chords, let all the strings ring through. Very common sound. So no nails now. It's a Terando. So I can feel myself actually reaching for the nails even though they're not there anymore. I'm still trying to just catch the strings. Feels like a quieter technique, but sounds really nice, I think. Something I do a lot is use my index finger as though it was a pick. So I actually hold my fingers like I was holding a pick, but instead of using one, I just used the tip of my index finger. So in this case, because I've got nails, I'm using my nail as the pick, if you like. You can see I'm doing some hybrid picking there as well. And so this is a technique I'll use a lot. As you can see, when I'm doing these kinds of little blues runs, it just sits nicely on the hand. So, no nails now. Let's see what using my index finger as a pick sounds like. Can you hear how I'm still hitting the nail, but it's rolling off onto the fleshy part of my finger? Quite a different sound for this. I was expecting a different sound, but not quite as much as that. It's not how I remember it at all. So it's going to take some getting used to this. Okay, it's worth just focusing on the thumb because it gives quite a strong sound. And even with nails, you can hear that there's quite a gap. It creates quite a staccato sound. Which is why I like to use it. It gives a different texture. So let's hear what the thumb sounds like with no nail. So a more round sound, I think. Okay, so let's look at the tremolo. I mean, I know I covered it in the previous videos, but it's worth just having a look at it again. All I'll do is I'll just play the top E string. So all I'm doing there is thumb, third, second, first. And you can use it to create lines as well, which are covered in plenty of other videos. But I'll just sustain on one note. But hopefully you can hear what it sounds like when I play this with nails. So the tremolo without nails, this is going to be quite difficult for me because it's all about accuracy and losing that extra millimetre makes a difference, but it's a softer technique, but quite a nice sound. Yeah. And my accuracy is a bit dodgy, but that'll come in a week or so. Okay, so what about strumming? Well, strumming I tend to do with one finger, so I'll do down and up strokes with one. It doesn't really matter which finger I use. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing is just straight down stroke with my index finger and an up stroke with it as well. And I can do it for individual notes as well, just to get a bit more texture, you know. Again, it's just that same movement, down and up strokes, just hitting the strings, and I'm controlling the string vibration with my left hand. So let's try strumming without nails. So as before, I'm just going to go down and up. So this feels really weird at the moment, not having any nails. It's going to take me a week or so to really kind of acclimatise and allow my technique to vary to accommodate this new feeling. What I'm finding actually is that I'm reaching for the strings with what's left of my nails rather than playing with the tips of my fingers. So we'll probably find that the tone changes as I adapt my technique to suit playing without nails. So it'd be interesting to see what I sound like in a week or so's time. But anyway, hopefully that was useful for you. Hopefully that was interesting to you. And we'll chat next time. Goodbye.